This is the John McComb Show podcast. Subscribe now on iTunes. Listen to the show live each weekday morning, 5:30 to 10 on News Talk 980 CKNW and through the Radio Player app. Hi, I'm Niki Reitmayer from the John McComb Show on News Talk 980 CKNW. On Saturday, October 14th, I sat down with actor David Duchovny. You probably know him from TV shows like The X-Files and Californication. However, did you know that he's also in a band? So I caught up with him at the Imperial Theater before his concert, where all proceeds from that show were to go to Hurricane Harvey relief. Here's what David Duchovny had to say.
Actually, I'm only going to ask you this because it came off the top of my head now when you were talking about your dog destroying a Trump doll.
Yeah.
In another interview that I read that you had done, you referenced the state of America as being this sort of jingoistic state. Do you think that that's where patriotism in America is gone?
I don't know. It's hard to tell. Right now there's all this nonsense about, not nonsense, but there's controversy about, kneeling during the national anthem and whether or not that's disrespectful to the military, which I don't understand at all. I mean, I think that Trump and Pence last week walking out of a football game, it's a craven political stunt, trying to silence people that are protesting peacefully, which is actually what the flag represents. The flag doesn't represent everybody having the same opinion. The flag represents everybody having the right to voice their own opinion. So I think people get confused about what patriotism means, whether it means that you love your country right or wrong, or you love your country and want to make it better. And I kind of think it's the latter.
This maybe sounds hypocritical for me to say this because I'm a Canadian, but studying the Vietnam War and such, it's always been kind of an argument in America, hasn't it? What is patriotism? Is it to obey your government, or is it to obey what's correct for the people?
Well, certainly an issue when John Kerry ran for president, and here's a guy, you can think what you think about him politically. I mean, maybe he's not the most charismatic or inspirational leader, but here's a guy who was a medal-winning soldier who came out and spoke out against the war eventually, and that takes incredible thought, guts, and what I can only imagine is really heartbreaking moves, within oneself. So, the Vietnam, Ken Burns has a great documentary on right now on the Vietnam War, and it's devastating to watch that. And I think, in many ways, I think America is still kind of on its heels from that war.
Talking about the more emotional side of things, is there anything in your own songwriting where you have to confront something that you've had opposition with in your own life, and now here you are having to speak out in a public forum, like what we just discussed, something that might be controversial or difficult for you to present? Do you ever find that yourself?
Yeah, I mean, only if the occasion arises organically. I mean, I tend to, and it's not necessarily a popular way to think right now, but I tend to think that art and politics are separate. Obviously, all art is political because just making art means that you don't accept the world as it is. If you accepted the world as it is, then you wouldn't make art. There would be no need to make extra. You'd be, oh, it's fantastic. Let's just have it. So art by its nature is saying something else needs to happen. That's kind of my view of art. Once you start making overtly political art, then to me that's propaganda, whether it's left or right, or whether I believe in it or not. I mean, whether I believe in the morals of the left, which I tend to, but still I would say if you're making art out of a political point of view, it is propaganda. And there could be better propaganda than not better propaganda. I mean, I tend to like the left propaganda better, but it's still propaganda. So to me, art deals in eternal truths, not in the truths of the moment, not in the political truths of the moment. Now, most songs are dealing with love and loss, and they're not dealing with Trump and Pence, even however good they might rhyme, So it's possible to write a beautiful song, a great song about you have songs from the 60s that resonate, but I think they still resonate because they were great songs first and foremost, and not necessarily because they were Ohio, or something's going on here, these songs, But I do think the time is ripe for a song to catch fire that way. You know, I just don't think I'm the guy that's. I don't go there to write that way. I reference Trump in one song, but it's not even. It's like in the bonus track of in El Kabong. I reference Trump, but that's about it.
Do you think that we live in a time now, though, where those types of songs could touch people as much as they did 30 years ago, 40 years ago, and have the impact that they did 30 or 40 years ago?
Maybe. You know, people are talking about this Eminem thing as having impact. Who knows? I mean, it's hard to gauge impact anymore because things, they get so big and then they go away. You know, like I don't know, in a month or people are going to be talking about Eminem. I don't know. It's just a weird cycle that we're in now. I don't get the rhythm. It's a different rhythm now than the one I grew up in. But I also tend to think that, you know, there's a certain amount of preaching to the choir when you have songs like that. Like, people who agree with your opinion are going to like the song, and people that don't are not going to be convinced. I'd like to know if anybody was ever convinced one way or another by a song. That would be wonderful if it happened. I think something like Hamilton is a show that has power enough to actually change people's minds, but I think that's a once-in-a-generation type of thing.
Speaking of content of songs.
Sure. I'm going to grab a bottle of water.
Yeah, sure. Could I bother you for two?
Yeah.
Lovely, thank you. In Hell or High Water, you remark a lot about...
Can you, like, when you're done drinking the water, just put it on the other side of the chair?
Yeah, for sure.
So we don't have to hold it.
Yeah.
Just like pour it out.
Pour it on the other. Pour it on the other.
Another high water,
Remark a lot, on several tracks and several times in certain tracks, about in regards to the passing of time. Is time, the passing of time, a fixation for you in your own life? Is that something that is of significance or something that you lament?
I would imagine it's the fixture of everyone's life. I mean, to me, it's one thing that we all share. When I referenced earlier about writing about universal things, I mean, I think there's great sadness to the passing of time, regardless of whether you're in a good place or not in the present. You know, it's not really. I wouldn't say my songs are about a longing to go back, but they're just the pain of no more. That's no more.
Sometimes it's the pain of moving forward.
Yeah.
In your songs, like
Right.
that.
Yeah. Sure.
Maybe it's even harder than the pain of wanting to go back.
Probably. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if I have to put it in words, I wouldn't really know how. I think I put it the way I put it in the songs.
I only have a few minutes with you, so I won't get too
Yeah.
maybe we'll move.
I think we've already gone
politics
pretty.
and heartbreak and
Yeah.
everything else.
Yeah.
Lighting it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Or are we going to hear any of your songs in the new X-Files?
Oh, you know, actually, Chris Carter totally surprised me by having a local punk band cover Unsaid Undone and putting it in, I think it's the third episode that we shot. And he never asked me. I got this urgent call from my lawyer, said, somebody, you know, Chris Carter wants to license Unsaid Undone. I was like, what? And I texted Chris. I said, what are you doing? He said, I want to use the song in like the teaser. And I was like, yeah, I was totally touched and thank you.
Yeah.
And I understand, like, and I said to him, I understand that you don't want my voice on the track. That might be weird and confusing. And he said, well, maybe we'll use, you know, your versions of the song later.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
And again, I'm sure I'm running out of time here, but I'll ask you too, between the first album and this new album, you know, you picked up a guitar fairly recently in your life. How do you think that you've progressed as a musician?
I think I haven't progressed that much as a guitar player. Maybe a little.
It's fucking hard.
Yeah, especially when you pick it up not as a child, where your brain is more like a rock than a sponge, you know, or a dried out sponge than a wet sponge.
Well, they say that with learning a language, right? It's always
Right.
easier to do with
And I think
child.
music and language are very similar. So, you know, I'm gonna have a serious limit to how good I'm gonna get, and I don't care to get that good. Look at you.
That's devotion. I
Crack
think.
kills. I'll just say crack kills. Brad. But I've worked a lot on my voice, so I think as a, if you can call yourself a musician, if you're a singer, I don't know. But I wouldn't make great claims for my singing, but I have worked hard at it, and I'm much more confident, and I think that's helped when it comes time to write or to make up melodies for songs, that I have more confidence to play around with different ranges.
And what about your songwriting? I mean, you have an English lit background. You are, amongst other things, a writer, and now a songwriter as well. Which of those two mediums, whether you're writing long form for a novel, or whether you're writing short form, mixing music and poetry, as would be a song, which of those two forms comes more naturally to you? What's harder?
Well, I started out writing poetry when I was in high school and college. I guess I identified myself as a poet, unfortunately, tragically. So I think that songwriting and poetry is very different, but I didn't write rhymed poetry like a lyric would be. And lyrics are a very funny beast because, you know, a lyric on a page doesn't make a great poem necessarily. I mean, you look at Leonard Cohen stuff, and it's okay, but it's not like great poetry. But it's great songwriting.
Yeah.
Same with Dylan, great songwriting, decent poetry.
Alternatively, it's hard to turn Gertrude Stein into a song.
Right, exactly. So there's like a real alchemy that happens. You have to let the music carry a certain amount, because in a poem the words carry everything. In a lyric, if it carries everything, it's going to kill the music. So there's something going on that's magical in terms of like letting a lyric do just enough. But I think coming out of having written poetry for a long time in my life, I'm comfortable writing short lines like that, or writing imagistically, or just writing poetically and not as prose. So I don't know what's easier. I certainly tried to write lyrics before I was a musician. What the hell is going on here? Oh, it's the I'm taking the couch with me, this chair with me. I thought I had Ebola for a second, a rash or something. I wouldn't doubt it. So in terms of lyrics, I was always when I tried to write lyrics before I was a musician, they were terrible. So there's something about like just having taken up a guitar and knowing what a few chords are and trying to come up with a melody that has informed my lyric writing for the better, I think.
Have you written that song yet that you think is your greatest accomplishment? Is there a song, have you gotten to that point yet where you picked up a guitar and it's come naturally and matched exactly with the lyrics the way you wanted to, and you thought, yeah, this is my track? I've done it.
Well, it's not really for me to say, but there's been times when I thought, that's a real song, like, to me a song is like an experience, like you enter into it for 3.5 minutes and, you come out a little different, not that you're going to stay different, but, you took a journey in that little song. So there's a couple, there's Stars, I just feels like a kind of a nicely contained thought for a song. And Strangers in the Sacred Heart on the new album feels like if I had a philosophy, that was like, that's that song.
Yeah. Stakes are obviously lower financially in making music. You've got a lot more freedom than it would be in film.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this allows you to be more creative in song, or somewhere in the back of your head, though, are you always worried about putting out a product that's commercially viable? Because really that's how you've been kind of trained through your life as an actor. Excellent
question. Both, but not really, not with music. I mean, certainly it would be nice if a lot of people wanted to listen to the song or the album or whatever, but as you put it in the beginning of the question, it's true that I don't need to sell a lot for this to work for me. I just need to sell enough to keep, kind of break even. I mean, Brad doesn't want to hear that, but that's kind of the truth. And so I don't think I've ever written a song trying to go like, let's try to make a hit. I wouldn't even know what that means like in today's music so much. I mean, if I'm going to try to write a hit, I'm going to write a song that would have been hit in 1977. So that's kind of what I'm doing.
If you're trying to make a hit, you would put together a boy band with Brad and all the other guys.
Exactly.